Welcome to the Succeed with Software podcast, brought to you by SuiteDash. Today's episode is from one of the bi-weekly Q&A webinars. To participate live, just follow the link in the description to sign up and submit your questions. Be sure that you're subscribed on YouTube and following us on all social media to get the latest videos and updates about new and existing features. All right, so let's get started. Hello and welcome everyone. This is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. Welcome to the best part of my day sometimes, the easiest part of my day sometimes. This is the SuiteDash Q&A webinar, and this is where you can come anytime, as many times as you want, to ask questions, make suggestions, get feedback, go over ideas that you have with me. And it's valuable to us, valuable to you, I hope, but also valuable to myself and valuable to us to get direct feedback from our customer base. So thanks for being here. Let's get everyone to jump into the chat, if you would, to let me know that you can hear my voice, A, and B, tell us where you're from and maybe a little bit about your niche, about your business, and we'll just get to know each other a slight bit before we get started. Find that chat in Zoom, and I will go ahead and get started while you're saying hi. So if it's your first time with SuiteDash, if you're just getting started, one of the best things you can do is go ahead and start a free trial. I'll say that every time. But there's no better way to start to experiment and get to know the platform than getting your hands dirty and getting your hands on. So it's not an overnight, easy type of experience. We recognize that, we acknowledge that, not ashamed of that because of the power and flexibility that it provides. Anything that is this powerful and this complete as an operating system for your business will take some time, will take some investment. And it's part of the reason we're here today, to help you through this so that you don't have to do it on your own. You do it as part of our community. Okay, so I do have some questions here. Let's get more people into the chat so I know who's here and who's ready to discuss, and then we can start going through your questions. But I definitely want to do this in an active, dynamic kind of way. I hope I have it turned on. Okay, yep. Hi, Paul. Paul from the UK. Great, Paul. I always have to ask when I have a UK or European, which is often, but do you have a favorite football team, Paul? Because, these things are important, right? Jared, hey, from Dallas, investigating options for client portals. Yes, but you'll never have heard of them. Oh, the best kind. Local community stadiums, right? I know, but Bradford City. Yes, sir. I'm a longtime Premier League and championship and just in general football fan or soccer fan, depending where you're from, but very long time, and played when I was younger, and have always, as they say, I was there before it was cool. So right. Yeah, cool. Okay, very nice. Nottingham is my favorite sort of smaller club that most people have not heard of, or most people have, I guess. Used to work really closely with a staff member who was from that area, grew up near the stadium, and he got me into that. But Liverpool and Barcelona are my favorites, and that's, again, it's an old it's a well-established, I'm not a fair weather fan. These are clubs that I've been following for a long time and enjoyed. They made life pretty nice for me there for a while. Now it's a little struggle, but it's okay. All right, to the subject of the day, and then Paul and I will meet later and talk football. Chelsea from Canada, speaking of football, from Canada, trying to figure out SuiteDash works for employee time tracking, time reporting. Okay, Chelsea, I want to make sure that I get to that for you. Jared, I'm going to start with you. Since you were, jumped in, I have some good questions here from Jared, and I want to just go through these. So Jared, I'm going to throw the chat up. Jared says he's watched the videos, good, and understood integrations, good, and he has some unique questions which we have had before, and I'll explain the options here. So Jared says he has clients, and he's a web firm that want to connect with Salesforce and use data from there, specifically update clients on progress in their account. And an example, client moves from stage 2 to stage 3. Okay, Jared, I get it. And here's the situation with Salesforce. Salesforce, as you know, is a for-profit, 100% profit extraction machine that goes to work with enterprises to extract as much profit as possible from those enterprises. We all know that. I'm not saying anything bad about Salesforce, but they are somewhat opposite of what our mission is. They go to work on enterprises and pull them as deep as possible, as fast as possible, and then talk about complicated, then require Salesforce specialists, et cetera, to get them straightened out. But one of the things that we have run into in the past, and we understand this question, is because many customers come to us trying to solve this client portal problem. Salesforce does have the capability of client portals, but they charge an arm and a leg for it based on a per client basis. So what you're going to want to do is to make this work, and we do not have, to shortcut, we do not have, Jared, a native Salesforce integration. However, you can accomplish what you're after using our API if you have API chops. Yeah, Zapier could work. So, or the API. So what you'll want to do is create custom fields in our system. I'm going to say it really fast, and then I'll try to break it down depending on how you react. And I'm not going to be able to make this digestible by anyone on the planet, but I think you'll understand where I'm going here. You're going to create custom fields in your contacts and companies that will act as flags for the that will indicate the state of the contacts, the clients that you're trying to indicate, and the flag will determine the state. And then you'll use, and this has been done many times, so I understand what this is supposed to be. Then you'll use what we call our dynamic logic engine to identify scenarios. So we have what we call auto templates. These are the automations that you'll configure. And then you use our dynamic logic engine to identify scenarios based on those flags that you're talking about. And you'll fire automation based on when that scenario becomes true. So if the logic implied by the conditions above is true, then execute the automations below. And you can do this here. If custom field value, you're going to choose the custom field. You're going to say is or is not. This is a multi-select. Let's see. Equals, right? So this will be like your custom field flag equals 1 or 0 or whatever you want to do. You can do any number of things here. When this returns true, this is set to scan all clients and prospects. You can even limit this by circle. And then here you will configure whatever changes in the client portal to be triggered automatically using these automations here. Okay. So in this way, you can design a system that basically is a piece of software that is looking for changes. Salesforce, when you make a change there, it's going to use Zapier or an API middleware that you build and change the value of a custom field here using the API, which you'll see all the documentation is here. Okay. And then when the dynamic logic engine recognizes a scenario that is true after that change, then it will trigger the changes here in the portal. So this is the basics of what you should be thinking about to connect Salesforce with SuiteDash and get a portal that will react properly as you intend to the changes made in Salesforce. Not necessarily, Jared. So what you could do is you could use Zapier. You could use Zapier to just change the value of the custom field. So that's basically what you're going to do so you have 5 custom fields that indicate I think you call them stages. So, that will be your stage 1 is stage 1 true or false. You can use true or false or 1 or 0. That's what we call a flag in programming. Stage 2 is a custom field, 1 or 0. Stage 3, 1 or 0. Okay. And then you will set up this logic engine to indicate. So you can use Zapier to change those custom fields. Those custom fields live here in SuiteDash. Zapier will take your Salesforce action and it will react and say, okay, I see I was triggered by this Salesforce action on the one Salesforce side. And now I'm going to take this action on the other side, on the SuiteDash side. And that action is for the target, which you will identify on the Salesforce side. I want to change the value of custom field. I'm going to choose the custom field and change the value. So I think that should be it, right? So you'll change the custom field value on our side, then the logic engine will recognize that. And within 60 seconds, 90 seconds, usually it is the scanning time. And then the automations will be triggered on our side, which will change their circle is probably the core action that you'll want to take. Circles are our functional segmentation device. I always equate it to wearing wristbands at a convention. And essentially, you're going to take off for their wristband for stage 2 and put on their wristband for stage 3. And then their dashboards can change. The visibility to file downloads, file uploads, etc. will change based on that circle if you configured it that way. Okay, good. So, and Zapier can make your changes. We do have a Zapier integration that will accommodate this. But yes, the trigger and auto templates are this trigger logic and auto templates are the way this can happen. We have people building entire software on top of this logic. And in fact, in the end, and even currently, depending on how invested you are in the platform, as far as like how many different toolkits you use, if you use the approach I just said, then you can use SuiteDash as really a Zapier alternative in most cases, because with a little creativity using those flags that I said, but we also have a webhook notification, a webhook action that can be triggered. So depending on your needs, you can really bypass Zapier in a lot of cases and use SuiteDash to process these changes that you're looking for and trigger actions both within the platform and without the platform, outside the platform, using webhooks. Okay. All right. And then file upload. You asked about documents that need to be uploaded from the user to their account where the company can download and save them. Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. In fact, let me just answer it quickly, and then I want to turn you on to a YouTube video. SuiteDash. Okay. And let's go to videos. And somewhere in here is a really good files. It's also in the here, files toolkit. Yep, look for it right here. So it's also in the SuiteDash Academy. So if you look there, there's a files lesson built into our own LMS there, and you can see this video there. But in short, let's do the in short. Files is the files component here. You can easily on the client side, they have a place to upload. We are on the verge, possibly even tomorrow or definitely next week, releasing an additional helper tool on the files upload and download side called file upload block and file download block, which will allow you to build very specific file upload and downloads functionality directly into dashboards and portal pages, so that all files uploaded through that block will land in a very specific place you specify per client. And additionally, on the download block, you can identify a dynamic location that's per client so that, or you can do it for all clients, but the cool part is you can say, I want to deliver, depending on which client is logged in, I want you to go into their specific dynamic files and look for a specific folder. And when you find that folder, if there's anything in that folder, I want you to display it here for download. So as an example, you could, if you have staff members who are processing, say, tax returns, is a good example, then when they're completed, you just tell them, all you need to instruct them is go to this folder inside the client and you deliver their tax returns into this folder, and then you're done. Okay. And then that's it. And from that moment that those tax returns are uploaded in that folder, if you have it configured properly with the file download block, when they load their dashboard, it will look in that folder. It's always looking in that folder. Anything in this folder, I want to make available for download. If there's nothing available. But as soon as those files are available in that folder, when the dashboard is loaded, it knows which user is logged in. It goes to that specific user's client's folder. And this is also available for staff members, by the way. And it looks in that specific path. And if there's something there, it says, okay, hey, you have a file download. Here you go. And it makes delivery of custom work very easy, because your staff only needs to know where to deliver it in a file structure. And after that, the delivery mechanism is already pre-configured and pre-built. And then when all your clients that fit that description log in, their files will be there, and that's all they will see. That's all they'll have access to download. And what this does for us is really cool, is that it provides now a way for you to I can just close this, provides a way for you to deliver files without giving access to this entire file structure, which may be confusing to them. Now, it's really powerful. They can see a lot of different things here, that you can build a lot here. But if you don't want them to dig around in here or have access to this, you're just trying to deliver a very simple set of files in a dashboard, say, for example, without causing extra confusion, you can do that and just eliminate this menu item from the client side. And just to close the loop on that, you're going to do that using custom menus. Okay. So if you chose to go that direction, if you go here to Files, Custom Menu, and then you click Manage Visibility, as soon as I do that, now clients and prospects cannot see that menu item. Or if you wanted to make it that way only for specific types of clients or prospects, then you can do that by circles. You can say, I want to show this menu item only for these specific types of clients. Okay. So you have a lot of flexibility in the way you handle files. And yes, when your admin side is going to retrieve these files, that's another thing you asked about, then it's very easy, because they can just go into, if it's a company, then they go into company files here, uploaded by company, or depending on if you specify a specific folder for upload, then they just go in there and get it. And they download it from right here, or they can download an entire folder as a zip. Okay, good. Thumbs up. We're good. And then messaging and support. In the event a client has a question, it would be nice to have a way for them to log in and ask versus calling in and asking. Absolutely. This is the number one functionality for websites in general, and it's definitely for portals, right? You do not want that phone to ring and ask any question that you answer more than 3 times a week. You should work very hard to answer it in a portal or on a website. So we have a built-in messaging functionality. This is private messaging. This is not your email. Your email is not connected here. And why? We're a HIPAA compliant platform. And what this means is this is a built-in messaging component, like might be built into your bank, for example, or Reddit, for example, or some messaging that's completely independent and outside and only accessible here. However, you can get emails that go back and forth that will make it easy for you to answer these by email. But for sure, they can send you a new message You can specify in a very powerful way who they can send messages to. You can say restrict messages to only their coordinator, or designate who they can message, right? So you can get very granular about who they can message and how that works. So there's a lot of cool options here. But in messaging, you can use canned responses, which can function as signatures. Very powerful functionality here built in, and even to the point where you can automate a first message that is sent. So if you're onboarding a specific type of client, you can automate a first message that would say, okay, this kicks off this this messaging concept in their brains when they get a message, and they can reply to it in the portal. So they have access to a box that's just like this, where the back and forth happens. Note here that out of the box, because of HIPAA compliance, the message, the actual contents of the message, will not be included in the email. And that is because email is technically pretty insecure as it goes, right? And that's why you don't send very sensitive information across an email channel. So if you need that, then you should leave that. And that's privacy. We call this privacy mode. And then there's also convenience mode. Okay. So if you don't need that level of security, and you say, I don't need my clients to just get a notification and then have to log in to actually see the conversation, you can enable convenience mode, which, as it says here, it will actually include the data, the content of the message in the email, and they can reply to that email, and it will populate the conversation thread with their reply automatically. Okay. So that is in organization settings. You want to go there and explore which configuration works best for you. Also clear? And Paul says good. That's good. Okay. And then depending on the level of Salesforce integration, there may be some other items like auto-generated follow-up once the service is completed. Absolutely. Yeah. Be clear that our entire mission here is really about automation. It's about systematizing your business using processes to achieve streamlined business via processes and automations. Okay. And our platform is heavily built around automation. So understand that you may, as you start here in SuiteDash, find things that don't initially make sense to you, such as generators. What's a generator? I don't know what a generator is. There's a recurring invoice generator. What in the heck is that? Well, it's not an invoice. It's a generator of invoices. And why does it exist? It exists as a configuration that will generate invoices based on data passed to it in an automation. So you will find, as you work here, as you start to understand what is inside this operating system, this machine known as SuiteDash, this software that allows you to build your own software, that we provide tons and tons of these tools that are all built on automations, or built to support an automated workflow. You saw the auto templates. Those are pre-canned automations that can be triggered on demand, either manually or by that dynamic logic engine that is constantly scanning for scenarios, right? So that can work kind of on autopilot, right? Then we have scheduled automations. Now, these can be built as a schedule. So 5 days from now, I want you to do this. 10 days after that, I want you to do this. 15 days after that, I want you to do this. It'll take some time for you to understand how this can be used, but these are very powerful. And in every place where you have a completion event that is possible, you will find that there are automations that can be configured here. We call this an automation opportunity. And what it means is that when the invoice that's generated from this generator when the invoice that's generated from this generator, I said yes, and I mean it. That's what I meant to say. Lands in this list of invoices. Right now, these are actual invoices. This one was generated from a generator. Okay. Down maybe further back, we'll find one. Let me see if I can find one because I think these are recurring. Yeah. So this one was manually created. This one was manually created. This one was recurring. Okay. So you understand this one was an on-demand invoice generator. For all of these, the automations were passed. Let me see. This one is okay, not Edo. Let's go back. We'll find something. But those opportunities, what it means that automation opportunity, when the invoice is paid, the automations get fired. Okay, so what you asked about is auto-generated follow-up once the service is completed. So auto-generated follow-up is easily covered by the automations. They can send emails, they can fire email cannons. All this will become apparent to you, but here's the email side. This is just a little cache issue that we have to, I just need to clear my cache. This is a new item. Once a service is completed, that is something that should be defined by you. So I can't really understand what that means. But what it means is, but what I can tell you is that all over the platform, these opportunities exist. They're all placed in areas where completion events can be identified. And then when the completion event is programmatically identified, we fire all the automations that you configure here, which can be 1, 5, 10, doesn't matter, whatever you want, are fired towards that target. The target is the person on the other side, the person who paid the invoice in this case. Okay, Jared, all clear? Let's see if we can jump to the next, because that completes the questions that you have. But if you have follow-ups, I'm happy to work on them. Okay. Tim, is Tim here? I don't see Tim. Sierra, I don't see Sierra. Lawson, good. Jared, that's good. Adriana, I see Aria. That might be the same. Courtney, I don't see Paul. I see Paul. All right, Paul. Paul says, how are you? It says, need to establish whether I can use it to create a portal for my health clients where I can store their reports, etc. Definitely, Paul. Now, it's a generic statement, so I'll say definitely 95%. But as far as creating a portal where you can store anything of file-related format, which I'm assuming that's what you're talking about when you say reports, 100% designed for that. Please explain away. I'm happy to do my best to get you exactly what you want here. Let me also see about, I see Chelsea is here. Chelsea has some questions as well. So type it. Yep. Okay, let's go, Paul. Paul says someone responds to adverts and orders a hair test. Okay. Responds to adverts. That's probably, you have that part covered. What I think, just let me return the hair sample. Okay, got it. Okay, good. I think I'm going to go ahead and start off by suggesting, yep, good. Okay, so let's ask some questions here. When you say someone responds to the adverts, what mechanism are you using for that? Some form, some intake form, interest form, something like that. When they click a link in an ad or whatever it is, they're going to some landing page or website, and then they complete a form to give you their information. Yeah, okay. So the intake form, I would suggest if either use one of our forms, our kickoff forms, to start this process, because you'll have a lot of control then as far as how you get their information into the portal. This will really shortcut you a lot. If you're already embedded or invested in another form builder, form system, that's fine. Use Zapier or some alternative to shoot that data also to the platform so that you're creating a client of some user in our whatever description is works for you in our platform. That will help a lot, because then you can start to automate not only the client side, but remember that we have a full internal toolkit of project management and reminders and everything else that you can think of to help your staff and you stay on schedule, make sure that you know if something is falling through the cracks. So once you get that client in and you've established, okay, that we have their thing, they're in status A or status B, whatever you want to call it, you can move them through a process so that each time, and this is perfect, really. Let's go back to auto templates. I'm starting to see the possibilities here. My guess is you would want to start with circles. And I don't want to overcomplicate it, but I just want to be really kind of high level about this. I would probably create a circle for each phase that you need to move them through, right? And let me see if I can come up with a better. I think I have one of the accounts with this kind of. So when you do that, you can control the experience of that client at each circle. Really thought, let me see here. Sorry, I'm moving through different branded accounts here, so they look differently. These are different accounts. Here's a good example. Okay, so SEO funnel step 1, SEO funnel step 2, step 3. And what this was used for is to create a demo where as they move from one step to another, we used automations to say, okay, remove them from funnel 1, put them in step 2. Remove them from step 2, move them to step 3. And this allows us to control the experience in the portal, from which dashboard they see to which content they see, from which menu items they see, as we looked at before, from which file folders, etc. It's completely controlled by this circle or circles. Yeah. So it's not just one portal, right? You can think of SuiteDash. Don't think of it as, oh, they're going to log in and this is what they see and that's it. No, you can serve up infinite varieties of content, layouts, dashboards, portal pages, file folders, menu structure, infinite varieties based on the circle affiliation or the team affiliation on your staff side. You can do all the same stuff with your staff if you need to onboard staff members in a way. Okay, so just want to be clear there. So I would probably start with that. Then I would think about, let's go back here where I think I left off somewhere that makes sense. Yes. Okay. Let me explain this from a way that I think is visual that will help. Let's go here. Okay, good. This is a diagram that I use quite a bit. Here's your target. This is the person, as you designated as this person who responds to the adverts. They fill out a kickoff form. That kicks off your workflow with them and assigns them to a circle, for example, moves them into a specific state. This is an automation. And then you land at a checkpoint. I imagine that is when the test is completed and now you're going to return a sample to them. I would probably create a checkpoint here. Checkpoint I call is what we call a human interaction point, a decision point by a human being. Means the software is not going to know when the test is ready and when it was shipped. There's just not going to happen. It could mean maybe some crazy integration, but in general, that's not going to happen. Here is where you want to develop auto templates that will encapsulate the actions that are needed at that moment based on the scenario. In your case, I think you only have pretty much one scenario. So you just create an auto template that will say, okay, when I ship them the test, I need to perform these actions. I want to add them to a new circle, as we talked about before. I want to remove them from a different circle. Wow, where'd it go? Remove the circle. So I'm going to remove from a circle, add a circle. That means, and you don't have to remove, but this is just like what we call a circle change. Okay. Removing from this circle, adding to a new circle. Now I've changed basically how everything that they see can be hooked into this circle affiliation. And I also want to send an email to them. Now you're sending them an email branded. I want to send an email to these people in my organization, or a team, which is a group of people in your organization, your staff members. And then I want to do any of these other things, right? You could jump off kick off a project. You could grant them access to a new LMS course, right? Which maybe you create an entire LMS course that's intended to just kind of say, okay, here's the next step. Here's what you should know. Here's what you should expect. Here's how you should interpret the test and lead them through. And this is all happening inside your branded portal, right? So you can use this to really deliver much more than an email or a notification. You can deliver educational materials, which really supports them, probably would completely set you apart from anybody else in your industry. This is really powerful, right? So what I mean is you create all those automations that are pre-canned, pre-configured for when that test is sent out. And then all you have to do is you're going to go to that contacts dashboard is really kind of the easiest way, or you can do it from the list. Let's just say we can just do it from the list. It'll make it really easy. We're going to use, let's see, this person right here. No, they're not invited. Let's go to, they would need to be in a certain status. Right here is fine. Okay. And I'm going to say, let me close the chat because I think nobody can see it. Let's see. Okay. So here you can say apply auto template. See this? And so let's say we're saying, okay, we sent the test. Now we have to apply this auto template. There's one click. Let's assume this is the one we just built for sending the test. 2 clicks, 3 clicks. And then all the automations that you built into that auto template will be fired against this target, meaning the emails are going to go to them. Their circles are going to be changed. And each time, all you have to do is train your staff. When we send a test to Will Turner, you go to Will Turner. You can do it from here, or you can do it from their CRM dashboard. You can say go to them, and then you click auto template. Where is it? Trigger auto template. Select it. Trigger, and here's a good example of a bunch of automations all at once. Boom, done. Next. Next, right? How great is that? I mean, because then here's what you do, right? So you're developing a workflow that allows you to intake them. They automate. They're on an automation slide, we call it, till they hit this checkpoint. This is your test. We send them the test. 4 clicks away. In 4 clicks, we kick it back on the slide. Now the test is in their court. Then they come back to us. We design another interaction where they come back to us and give us more information or respond in some way. Then we build another auto template that kicks it back. And our goal is to create this automated as is possible in any business, streamlined workflow that gets us from here to here with the least possible human interaction. Only here. Everything else is automated and mistake free. Remember, it happens in milliseconds, right? This, say, 6 actions that I built into this auto template that might take me the next 30 minutes to send an email, notify this other person, put them in some database, change them to some spreadsheet. What is that? 15 minutes of cycles happens in milliseconds. Right. And all you have to do is design this using the tools that we provide that are expressly built and organized and designed to do exactly what I'm talking about. So, you can go the hard way. I used to ask my kids this all the time. Would you like to do this the easy way or the hard way? And the cool thing about humans and kids in general, they will always say easy way. Okay. Well, the easy way is you do what I say. The hard way is something different. But in our case, the easy way, and I won't say it's easy forever. We're always quick to acknowledge that this is not going to fall over for you, right? And that's why we're here trying to help. But when it's built, then suddenly you sit back like Dr. Evil and you say, excellent, whatever, Mr. Burns. Okay. Let's move. Make sure that Paul is taken care of, but I want to. Paul, is it clear? Somewhat clear? A little more clear? You can come back as many times as you like. There's plenty of ways to get assistance here. Wizarding session is a really good way because that way you can one-on-one with someone who for an hour and really talk it out and maybe sketch it out, create a workflow, a flow chart. That will help you immensely to have something in front of you that, okay, yes, this is what I want. Something like this, right? And this is what you get something like this under control. Then you think, okay, now I need to build a piece at a time, make a needs list, go make the circles that you need. Then you start make the other things that you need. And then you make the other things that you need and you start wiring them together. And then you start doing some tests with your test client and just one step at a time until you feel, okay, this looks right. I think we can start with this. And then you introduce it into your process. And again, you're working on your business here. You're building a business, not working in a business. Because when you build a business, when you build a framework that can work, then you can scale it. But until then, you're just running in place until you convert yourself into a systematizable, I think that could be a word, I'm not sure it's a word, entity. Until you do that, you can't be replicated and you can't scale because whatever amount of business you're doing this week, you can't 10x that if you have to manually do it. It's impossible. No one can work 400 hours a week, but you can 10x a process. And this is why everyone, not even if you're not using SuiteDash, every business needs to be thinking this way. Okay. Chelsea, thanks for being so patient. It is 11:46, so we have time, I think. Okay, I hope this will be helpful, Chelsea. Chelsea is a small consulting business, professional services. Awesome. In what niche, Chelsea? Maybe you can help me. Love to know. Urban planning. Awesome. Okay, I don't know. That's probably the last one I would have guessed, but I think that's really cool. Okay. Invoices and billing. Is it possible to add billing expenses to an invoice? Not currently, Chelsea, but we do plan to move in that direction. Yes. Invoice, will a PDF of the invoice be attached? Yes. That's optional, but yes, it is an option. Oh, right. Yes. Timer. You were okay. Good. Chelsea's asking about timers and timesheets. Awesome. Okay. All right. This is one of the times, Chelsea, when the expectation that you have been given from other software may not be what you find in SuiteDash, and I will explain. Yes, we have timers, 100%. Yes, they will track time, and if you give me a second, I think I can squeeze in the. Okay, Jared, thanks. See you later. Let's go to organization settings. We're going to turn on the timer widget. Now you can do it in other ways, but the timer widget is really cool. Let me see. Where is it here? Show time tracking widget. We're going to show it for super admin. Okay. And did I click save? Okay. There's the click. Okay. Company info. No. Let me make sure that I've done this. Send. So where I'm getting at, Chelsea, is this idea of a timesheet. Okay. I'll keep jumping around here and not getting where I need to be. Where I want to be is in invoicing, and I'm going to explain this in the terms of what we call an accumulating generator. Okay, let me finish your question because I want to make sure that I don't miss an opportunity to include other parts. Is there a timesheet that will result from staff's time entries? Is there a way to do analytics on time spent to gauge staff efficiently relative to billable, non-billable hours? No is the answer there. I'm sorry. Email marketing, are there analytics for the campaigns? Yes. Will I be able to see the open rate? Yes. The device used? No, sorry. And then any plans to add drag and drop functionality to the email campaigns? Yes. Why are you using Acuity scheduling rather than your own scheduling app? Good question. Yeah, I like it. So let me get to all of these, but I want to explain accumulating generators first, okay? Here's the timer widget, okay? So if you open this, you can track time in any way. So you can just immediately start it. You can have a hourly rate here, or you can set an hourly rate. Okay, I'm gonna get there. Good. You can set an hourly rate per person. You can also, if you have this need, you can set an hourly rate for your staff members and then elect to hide that hourly rate from them. So this is pretty typical that you may have a freelancer that you're paying at, say, 40 an hour, but billing at 90 an hour, as an example. This is business. This is the way it works. Maybe you don't want them to understand that you're billing at 90 an hour, so you elect to hide that, and then this hourly rate will not show for that user when they use the timer widget. However, we will count it and bill it at that rate. So we can start this immediately, or you can just start typing, what are you working on? We're going to say answering Chelsea's question. Okay, and then I hit enter, and now I'm counting. Okay, so we'll just let that go for a little bit. Now, when this completes, what I can do and what your staff can do is add it to what we call an accumulating generator. And what this does is you bill your clients every month, Chelsea? Something like that, right? Good. So you're going to create an accumulating generator. We're going to call this one direct. I'm going to turn you on to a video that you can watch, and this will be explained a little bit more, a lot more actually. You're going to set your client. You're going to have one accumulating generator for each client. So let's just, whatever client you have in mind right now, let's just say you enter them right here. And then you're going to leave all these items and everything off unless there's some scenario, which I can explain later. But what you're going to do is you're going to set this accumulating settings, and you're going to generate the invoice as open if you want, but let's just do draft in case you want to review it. And you're going to say, I want to do this every 1 month. And first creation date, we're going to say is today. That's fine. Or 14 days. Or you can even set the date. You can manually set the date. If you say, I want to do it on September 1st, okay? It doesn't matter. And now you set the payment settings that when the invoices are generated from this generator, I want to allow these settings. I want to add these custom fields if you want that. The relative due date, you're going to say, let's say 14. That means when the invoice is generated, if it was generated on September 1st, which it will be, you're going to set the due date as September 15th. That's 1 plus 14. Okay. And then you have these other items, other options, and then you have generation requirements. Maybe you only want this to generate if there's $100 or $500 built up. And now I'll explain how it works. As you are working for the client through the week, through the month, and they say, just bill me every month for what you do. You can come into this generator and add items. Or when timers are completed, you can easily, and I'll show you in a bit, add the timer as an item to the generator. Okay, so let's say throughout the month you add 1, 2, 5, 10 timers, a couple of expenses like billable expenses. You come in here and you add them, and you say, okay, this is a billable expense, whatever it is. On September 1st is the first time this will be generated, and then every 1 month after that, each time it generates an invoice, it's going to generate an invoice, put it into the invoice list, which is this. It's going to be an actual invoice in the invoice list. And then it's going to wipe clean all the items that are here and start over. And then on October 1st, any items you added during October, it's going to create an invoice and reset itself to 0. So now all you have to do is train your staff to add their timers, any items, to this client's accumulating invoice generator. And then at the end of every month, the invoices are automatically generated You don't have to go to a timesheet, and you don't have to transfer hours over to an invoice and remember to send it. Your staff is always trained. Add it to the generator, add it to the generator. And if you're very confident of the process and you know it works for you, you set this to open and you set this to send, right? And then you activate it. If you did that, most people are a little too cautious to do that. Maybe I probably would be one of those people too cautious. But if you are not cautious like that and you just say, hey, this is what we did, this thing is going to generate an invoice and send it to the client immediately, ready for payment every month. Now, what I know about the business, and I've been in a lot of businesses, that imagine how much money is lost through not being invoiced. Timers not invoiced, small things not being invoiced because you just don't have the time, energy, etc., to just go do it and transfer it to an invoice and send it out, right? So yes, I understand this is a way that you can bypass a timesheet and get to the place where these timers, expenses, etc., are automatically invoiced. Nothing is missed. Nothing is lost. Chelsea says we bill 25% of clients hourly, so it's great for that. 75% fixed fee. I just want to know the hours spent on them. Yes, so you can do that from. There are timers. Go to timers here, and it's easy to. We have some work to do here. I'll acknowledge this is that for sure we have some work to do because we focused more on this moving timers to the billing stage. That the reporting stage has some work to do here, but you can filter by client here in the sense that now you have a client and you can do a start date and end date, start date and end date. So you could set a month, first of the month, end of the month, or 6 months, and then set the client, and you'll have a list here. What we don't have is like a added up total, pie charts, things like that. But you definitely can get the data here. This will come. Something we do plan to add, but again, the reports is something where we do need to extend. Yeah. Okay. Is that clear? Yeah. And then quickly on some of the other things I want to acknowledge. We do have some time here. Email marketing, other analytics. Yes. So you'll see open rates and you'll see number of clicks, etc. These statistics are okay, Paul, go ahead and put them in there and I'll do my best to jump to them. These statistics are less reliable than they ever have been. And the reason is the privacy current that is building towards blocking of what are called tracking pixels. Okay. So tracking pixels are 1-by-1 transparent pixels that are included in emails that's how, when that pixel is loaded in a browser, it sends a message back to our software or whatever software and says, oh, that was opened. But lots of providers, including Apple and a lot of other ones, are moving towards this privacy stance where they are blocking those. And we have really shied away from extending in that direction because of the unreliability and the actual statistical gap that is there. We can show you a statistic, but it's not really a statistic because we can't even understand how many were blocked. There's just no way. So yes, we do it just like everyone else, but we're shying away from extending down that road because the trend is that will not be a reliable signal anymore. And what we're moving towards is in our email marketing to provide you with action buttons, essentially action links that, and you'll see this start to happen more and more in email. I'm sure of it. You'll see this, that you'll get emails that say, did you enjoy this content? Did you find this content helpful? Anything like that, anything where they say yes, no, 2 buttons. Now that is not blockable and is something that when they click yes or they click no, you get a signal back. It's a very, very definable signal. And in fact, in our concept, we plan to equate or align automations with those buttons so that you can send out emails that will have several choices. And when the end user clicks those choices, automations are triggered in the platform that are on par with the power of them actually logging into the platform and making choices. Yeah. So now this is really definable. It's very clear signal and it has even more capabilities than these statistics. So, our focus and thought process when it comes to those kind of things is down that path. Yeah. Good. Chelsea says, cool. Good. Okay. All right, Paul. And then the Acuity thing, I have to answer that one. Why are you using Acuity scheduling rather than your own scheduling app? It's been in place for a lot of years, Chelsea, even before our scheduling appointments toolkit was built. And until now, we don't have the round robin scheduling that it is on our path, is on our roadmap to build round robin scheduling, meaning for our wizarding and things like that. When someone signs up, we use a round robin process that drops that appointment into the schedule that has the least number of appointments that week. So that's a feature that we don't have on our own tool yet. But outside of that, for most people that are scheduling, I think our appointment scheduling tool is coming along in a very, very well thought out way and has improvements on the way, even in the next quarter or two that will enhance that even further. So keep in mind that we are building 15 toolkits and they build one. So yes, we'll get there. And when we do, it'll be a no-brainer on all fronts. But yes, that's why. And yes, and I'm not being defensive anyway. I understand what we're doing here and the difficulties that are involved. So it's okay. But to your point, we move in every direction that we can to use our own software. And if you go to the Academy, right, our SuiteDash Academy, you'll see that's accessible from inside your platform. Here, click Academy. You might see this. Here's a little sneak peek. It might mean something to you. Coming soon. But if you click Academy, this will take you to our SuiteDash Academy, which is built in our own LMS. And in a lot of cases, our reseller program, we do the entire onboarding via the reseller program via SuiteDash. And then let me, as I promised, invoice generators. This is the video that you'll want to watch, Chelsea. This does a great job of that. And then here, profit by what? Not this one. This one, behind the scenes at SuiteDash HQ. This shows you how we're using SuiteDash to manage our entire reseller onboarding process. This is a really cool one. Yeah, you might want to take some time for that one. Okay. Back to Paul. Is there a way we could enter the health test results into a form that would generate a pay? Yes, Paul. Yes. It's like we're channeling on a channel that will set me up. Okay. Yes, Paul. So let's go to forms. So we have some pretty robust features in forms, but one of the coolest ones I like to talk about a lot is what we call staff submit. Okay. Staff submit. And this exists as a concept for all of our forms. The one you're talking about will probably be an update form. This means that this is because the user is already in your platform. They're already in your CRM, and we're going to use this update form to update or add more information to their profile. So what you can do is click staff submit. You're going to train your staff. This is a static URL that you can bookmark even. And then they're going to select the user. This is the user who you're going to generate a page for. And then now we know who it is. We're going to write to their profile. When we submit these forms, when they're built out of custom fields, which is 99% of the time, the custom fields provide data that we can then regurgitate. We can print onto a dashboard, for example, using what we call dynamic data placeholders. Okay. Let me go here to really hammer this home. Let's go to, this is not going to be exactly, but let me finish your questions, and I think it's going to be good. SuiteDash can handle payments via Stripe. Absolutely. All those invoice generators we just talked about, all that makes invoices that can be paid online, either logged or non-logged. Okay, here we are. Good. Let me finish your questions, and then I'm gonna do this really well, hopefully for you. Could we provide access to LMS courses based on a person's test results if magnesium is hot? Well, the test results will have to be entered into that update form, but yes, absolutely. So in the way I was speaking with Jared earlier, we saw how the dynamic logic engine could interpret and look at data in the platform and find, like, say if it was 5 or higher, you want to give access to a specific course. You can say, I want you to scan this custom field for all clients that fit this description of a certain circle, which means their test results are completed or whatever. And if you see one that is 5, above 5 or above, this will be a number type custom field. So it will have a specific operators related to numbers. Then I want you to execute this auto template, which could be specifically designed, yes, to give access to specific LMS courses. So yes, the answer is yes. Can we embed the SuiteDash client portal into our website so the styling is seamless? The answer is no. You can embed a kickoff form into your website, but no, this is way too much formatting, etc., to embed into your website. I don't think you would want to do it. I think you would want to do something like, link to the portal from your website. Okay. So something simple like going to a website and have a client login that would open in a new tab. Or if you have a WordPress website, you can use our WordPress plugin, which gives you a login form like this. And the very next place they'll land is inside your portal at your custom URL, see, that you're going to configure here. So it will be seamless. Really, the branding and everything will be seamless to your clients, but it won't be on your website at your top level domain here yet. I said yet, and I'll let you interpret what that means. So coming soon, well, not soon, but coming in the future. Okay. All right. So we need a store with about 30 products, which we can do via our own. Okay. Can we replace that SuiteDash, or can we integrate that process? You can integrate that as long as you're using a mainstream e-commerce solution that has a Zapier or Pabbly Connect or any one of these automation platforms, an automation, because then you can, based on the product that is sold, then you can trigger certain conditions in SuiteDash for that client. Yes. Now, we are moving in the direction of being able to replace that, but I'm not going to offer that to you as a solution now. If you have it in place now, I would recommend go ahead and go the integration route where you are passing the proper variables to SuiteDash and then configuring the portal based on those variables. Yeah. Okay. Let's come back here because I wanted to show this to you, right? Okay, so these are the dynamic data placeholders. Okay. Look at this. This might be really cool for your thing. You said levels of magnesium. Okay, so you see this chart? Even the chart here is powered by the value of a custom field. So if you said a custom field called levels of magnesium, and for each one of your clients, that can be a unique value, right? So here you're going to say, I want to make the value to be the source type, the custom field. Now you're going to choose the custom field levels of magnesium here. Okay. So these are showing at 50% because they're dynamic. It's just 50 for a placeholder. But look, watch what happens. If I go to preview of this page or dashboard, you can build this as a dashboard as well. it says here, we can't show you a preview unless you select a contact, right? So now what if I say, okay, now just show me the data from Springfield Airways. It goes to that profile, returns the dynamic profile picture, first name, last name, company name, and there's the magnesium level. There's the other level. There's the other level. You can build all of this dynamic. So what's the advantage? The advantage is you can create a generic dashboard that's built out. This is a dashboard you're going to show to all your clients of a certain description. You can build out 10 dashboards if you have 10 different types of clients. They can all be redirected to this dashboard when they log in or see it as part of some process. But for each one, because just like Facebook, when you're logged into Facebook, you see different things. Because we know who's logged in, and this is just a preview, and that's why you're selecting, you will see the values that are associated with that specific person in their profile. Yes, of course. Yeah, you can do static stuff under here that's just like, okay, this is your magnesium level. This is what it means, all that. So you can build all of this. And in fact, you can hide entire rows of content based on if they are fitting within a specific circle. So see how I'm looking at the row here? So say this row is an explanation of magnesium or an explanation of some condition that they don't have, that you specified, okay, they don't fit in this case because whatever condition. So we add them to a circle that says does not have this condition. Doesn't matter what you name it. You can go into the row and edit it and say, okay, hide this row for circles of whatever description. You can name it anything you want. And if the logged in user is in that circle, then this entire row of content will be hidden from them. So you can have, even this dashboard can morph on the fly based on who's logged in and what circles they're affiliated with, what circles they're a part of or not a part of. Their data can be pulled directly from their profile and populate even chart blocks. I just, all I could say is this is cool. This is cool. I mean, I'm at the sunset part of my career, beginning of my career in web development and running agencies and things like that. If we would have had tools like this, we could have blown people's socks off. Yeah. It's incredible, really, what you can build with this. And it's all no code. It's all just here for you. So your question is, so they could be allocated to low magnesium circle? Yes, exactly. Remember the logic engine? Exactly. You could say if magnesium, custom field magnesium is lower than X number, you're going to enter the number. Your staff submit, right? Your staff, you can create that staff submit form where they enter the test results. That goes into the data. Then the dynamic logic engine is scanning that data, scanning for values that are lower than 5 for a specific target. When they find one, they're going to say, oh, add them to this circle, low magnesium circle. And then when that person logs into their dashboard, they'll see the low magnesium information. And again, you can do that right here under row. Access options. Show only for circles, low magnesium. Yep, exactly. OMG, Paul says. That's exactly right, Paul. This is not just a client portal. It's not just some invoicing program or project management. It's an entire operating system that you can build around your business. It's a giant pile of really cool Legos that you can put together to do exactly what you want. And it's getting better rapidly, week by week, all the time. Awesome. There you go. Okay, Paul. Good. Hope to see you again. I hope this really helps you and anyone else out there. So thank you very much for your time. You mentioned hours 1 to 2. How do you mean? Hours? Oh. You mean how does one access that? Hours 1 to 2. You mean 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.? So we have a webinar on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. New York time. And then today is the 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. New York time. I see. Okay. Yep. Let's go back to, there's a few options for you. So let's go to pricing. Yeah. So if you scroll down, you'll see the wizarding program. So go to pricing and read through this wizarding sessions. We do have some bonus sessions that are granted based on upgrades to specific plans. Keep in mind that for a lot of the automation stuff that I showed you, you're going to need to be on the Pinnacle plan. Pinnacle is where automations live. There's also some other options, but I really think that you would benefit tremendously by a wizarding session. And you'll get a game plan that I think you can probably move forward with. It sounds like to me, based on the fast way you're understanding everything. Okay. Awesome. It was a pleasure, sir. Let's turn off the recording and talk football. All right. No, come back anytime, okay? All right. Thanks a lot. Great to see you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Thank you.